Hi, welcome to my channel. My name is Ilma and I've been posting Christian blogs 11 straight years every day. Today I'd like to share 1 Timothy 9 to 16. Here's the Word of God. Let a widow be enrolled if she is not less than 60 years of age, having been the wife of one husband, and having a reputation for good works. If she has brought up children, has shown hospitality, has washed the feet of the saints, has cared for the afflicted, and has devoted herself to every good work. But refuse to enroll younger widows, for when their passions draw them away from Christ, they desire to marry, and so incur condemnation for having abandoned their former faith. Besides that, they learn to be idlers, going about from house to house, and not only idlers, but also gossips and busybodies, saying what they should not. So I would have younger widows marry, bear children, manage their households, and give the adversary no occasion for slander. For some have already strayed after Satan. If any believing woman has relatives who are widows, let her care for them. Let the church not be burdened, so that it may care for those who are truly widows. 1 Timothy 5:9 to 16. And here's the poem I wrote inspired by those verses. On churches' support for widows. There is order in the help that the church gives the poor. When a widow loses her husband when she's 60 or over, there is a requirement that needs to be followed to be given support. She must have raised children and has showed warmth to the saints. Compassion and care for those distressed and in need must be manifest. It is expected of her to devote herself to good works and to Jesus Christ. For the young widows, they are still able to go about their work. The church's support goes to those who are desperately poor. The young widows are encouraged to marry again and bear children. This way, they won't give the enemy a chance to tempt them. She can ask help from her relatives who are in the faith. The church supports true widows who cannot care for themselves. Reflection. Why do you think Paul clearly specified which kinds of widows should be given support by the church? Why not all widows? And what will happen if the young widows were supported by the church as well? In God's kingdom, there is order. So can you imagine if the church supported all widows, old and young alike? Then there will be nothing left for the church to run. So it's important that we distribute the funds that has been collected from the people who have given their support to the church to the destitute and the poor. In James 1, it says that true religion is to alleviate the pain and the loneliness of the widows and the orphans. So in those times, the widows have they are so helpless because they cannot they all depend on their husbands. So if their husbands die, they cannot buy a land, they cannot own a land, and they cannot really work on their own. So they need to be supported by somebody. So in that manner, the church is taking care of the older widows. But you see very clearly here that it's not just any widow. These are the ones who belong to the church, who have been serving the Lord. Can you imagine if we help all the widows who will just abuse and use the help that we're giving them for their own sins, for their own wants and desires. So I think that it's important that Paul made it clear to Timothy that these are the guidelines. Otherwise, the church will be abused and used by other people who are not really in the faith. So, but of course, we know that our churches nowadays, we don't really need to support the widows as much as we used to in the olden times, because the government support, we have all kinds of things that support us, pensions and all, old age security and all that. So that is not the responsibility of the church. The only responsibility of the church is for the destitute, meaning really no one, no help, no nothing. So if young widows were given, they could, and they become married after they were given support, what's going to happen? They're just going to use up the things that are supposed to be given to the ones who really need them. So I encourage you to reflect on this, because it shows that the order in God's kingdom and how important it is to prioritize the poor rather than the users, right? So thanks for watching. I hope you check my website at ilmaarts.com for artworks and photographs and a copy of this blog. If you'd like to see over 3,000 videos that I've done in 11 years, just type on Google search or on YouTube search Ilma's Poem Devotional. That's ILMA POEM, Poem Devotional. Or you could type my full name, Ilma BARAYUGA, BARAYUGA -Doherty. Thanks for watching.